Welcome, Limoblaze, to this podcast. It is such an honor and a privilege to have you here. Let's get right into this for today. So, as the first question, what was the moment you knew your music was your calling, and how did your journey into gospel, Afrobeat music really begin? I would love to know that story.
Um, I think for me, it's like the first phase would be when did I really know that music was a thing for me? Um, I've always loved music as a kid.
Wow.
Knowing if I was gonna be an artist, I didn't know, but when I was probably about 8, 9 years old,
That
I can't,
young.
yeah, I can't remember exactly when, but I never forget the dream that I had.
Please
I had
tell.
this dream at that age where I was on stage and there were thousands of people in front of me. I didn't know what that was about. I didn't know if it was
Yeah,
going to be me being an artist or me being an evangelist or something.
a
But I
preacher. Right,
knew,
right.
yeah, but I knew I was on stage and there were thousands of people in front of me. So that is probably like the earliest sign for me. But I've
Mhm.
always loved music and I started writing music really young. I remember my
Mhm.
friends growing up would never believe that I could write songs
Really?
because
Why is that?
I mean, I guess they
Mhm.
couldn't fathom that you could just stay and put something together. Because I would sing a song that I wrote and they'll be like, "No,
Mhm.
you're lying. That's not your song. You got that from
Really?
somewhere." I'll sing another song and they'll be like, "No, that's not your
Yeah,
song."
but it was
And
all
I'll be
your
like,
music.
"Okay." I'll be
Yeah.
like, "Okay, let's do this. Give me words and I'll write a song with it now." And they'll give me words and I'll sing. And they'll still be like, "We're not sure."
Nah, they should
But
believe you from the get-go, but yeah.
yeah, I always had the gift of songwriting.
Hmm.
Until after my uni,
Okay.
that was actually when it really started to get serious. Because I was making music while in uni, but the thing is, with being in uni, life making music is kind of easy because like you
Okay.
are still yeah, it is kind if you know how to manage your time, which I was always great at time management.
Right.
But in terms of the cost of making music, it wasn't crazy because I also learned how to produce early. So I was producing myself, recording myself, mixing and
How did you
everything.
learn how to do it? Was it like through YouTube, your friends,
No, YouTube.
or was it okay,
YouTube. I
YouTube?
feel like majority of what I know I learned from YouTube. I learned how to drive from YouTube.
Really? So no one like actually taught you. It was just
No, at the time that I started driving, I never went to driving school. I just watched a couple videos on YouTube. I bought a car, called
amazing.
my dad. My dad was like, "Well, driving is easy. You just have to convince yourself that nothing will go wrong." And I was
Yeah.
like,
You pray and hope
"Okay."
nothing happens.
And
Yeah.
I was like, "Okay, it's quite easy." So I bought my car and I just started driving.
Okay.
And from a YouTube video. I've learned most things from YouTube.
That is
Yeah, that's how I learned
impressive.
music production. And
Mhm.
so I was doing it for the longest up until after uni. Because
Okay.
after uni, that's when you have to like answer the real questions of life. It's like, okay, what am I
Exactly.
gonna do with my
What's your
life?
job, your career, all of
What's
that.
my career gonna be?
Mhm.
Yeah, how am I gonna pay bills and all of that? So it was really at
Important
that
question.
point that everything started. But before then, how I got into gospel music is when I started writing music, I was just writing random stuff, like
Okay.
bare random stuff. And then I
Hmm.
remember my friends introducing me to Christian rap. I never knew what that was until they did. And I was like, okay, I'll
Right.
check it out. And they introduced Lecrae to me and some
We're
other
great.
guys.
Oh my gosh. Yes.
Yeah, and then I started listening, and I've told the story a couple times. On a
Mhm.
Saturday, I was listening to two Lecrae songs, Boasting and Background, and I just found myself crying. And I'm like, why am I crying listening to a rap song? And
It
that
was
was really the
God
moment for
speaking.
me. Yeah,
Right.
that was a moment for me that I had a moment with Jesus, and I was like, yo, I want to be able to speak to people about you the way this guy does. And
Amen.
yeah, it really just went from there.
Wow.
Yep.
What a testimony from the dream you had when you were 8, 9 years old.
Yeah. Yeah.
Thousands of people there for you didn't know what it was at that time, but then
Yep.
God was showing you through being able to write music, being able to
Yeah.
sing, and then of course like learning how to do producing all of that, and of
Yeah.
course
Yeah.
having this come to Jesus moment and knowing your calling and being able
Yeah.
to produce so many amazing songs. So thank you for
Yeah.
sharing that. Blaze was
Thank you.
very inspirational. I'm a
Yeah.
big fan of Lecrae as well. His music is very inspirational and
Yeah, it
has
is.
also entered this like rap genre. So that was
Yeah.
very inspirational and I really did enjoy that. So thank you for sharing.
You're welcome.
Well, I know that you were talking a bit about that process of like creating music and producing it. What went into that creativity of producing songs like Desire, which is my
Yeah.
number one favorite song from you, along with
Uh-huh.
Gold is also incredible. But explain that
Yeah.
process with Desire, the lyrics, and how you mesh them together.
Yeah.
Mhm.
I mean, with me, what my process use looks like sometimes is, most times I kind of know what I want to talk about
Okay.
before I get into it.
Hmm.
Um, Sometimes I could start writing a song on the piano.
Wow.
Um, yeah, like when a song that I just put out recently, Yahweh, which is like a worship song with bass
Yes.
strings and draw. I just started writing it on my piano. I remember I was in the studio and I was just like, I prayed and I was like,
Mhm.
mm,
Like
I
God direct
I
me.
often make this prayers when I want to write and I'm just that day I was like, okay, God, Holy Spirit, I need you to give me a song that resonates with the heavens, something the heavens is singing at this moment. And the
Right.
first chords that I played on my piano were the
Mhm.
chords for Yahweh, and I was like, oh, and
And
I just
the
got it.
rest is history.
Yeah, and the rest came from there. I got my friend Falabino to aid in the writing.
Okay.
Then I sent it over to K Strings. He made some adjustments, and it's a
Hmm.
beautiful song.
Beautiful.
Um, Sometimes my process is my producer friends would send me instrumentals, and
Hmm.
for me, it's like if I hear something for the first time, the way that I feel,
Yeah.
if it speaks to me, then I'm like, okay, there should be a couple people out there that this would also speak to. So if the music, the if the instrumentation speaks to me, I'm like, okay, let me write to this. My
Okay.
process usually is like I start off with the melodies most times. Recently,
Okay.
recently, I've been starting a lot of my writing with words because
Oh, I see.
I feel like recently I'm a little bit more obsessed with words
Hmm.
than I've been before. So
Why is that?
uh I get for me it's just the season. I've always been intentional about the words and the lyrics in my music.
Mhm.
But I guess it's one is the season that I mean. Two, credit to my brother Joel. Spending 7 weeks on the road touring together, we rubbed off on each other, and
Mhm.
he is like super intentional about words. He's for me,
Mhm.
um, two of my best songwriters of all time. Well, I wouldn't say of all time, but two of my best songwriters that I'm like,
Share the
okay,
details.
yeah,
Yeah.
would be John Bellion and Joel Bands, because like
Okay.
their pen for me is crazy, and
Mhm.
I think he rubbed off on me in a really positive way. And I've always been intentional about words, but I'm a bit more obsessed with words
Okay.
right now. So a lot of
Right.
my writing lately start from words. But I'm always of the opinion that melodies
Hmm.
first before words, because at the end of the day, I've taught in countries where they don't know what I'm saying,
Oh, but it's
but
the
they
instrumentalist that's
can
speaking.
connect to the heart of the music from the melodies.
That makes sense. I
Yep.
see.
So while words are like super important and great, melodies
Hmm.
would break barriers and go beyond people's um, means of communication. So yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
So my process can go either way. Sometimes I start with the melodies. Sometimes I start with the words.
And they both work to create such a beautiful flow of
Yep.
songs that are touching
Yep.
people all across the world. Over here in the US,
Yes.
we're listening to your music. We play it all the time. We dance to it,
Oh,
and we
thank you.
truly enjoy
Thank
it.
you.
I truly enjoy
Thank
it
you.
for sure. And I know that you're mentioning going on tour weeks and weeks at a time. So,
Yeah.
what is that like going from city to city? Do you ever get tired or a little bit exhausted, or is it just like God gives you that strength to keep on singing in front of the crowds, ministering to His glory? What is
Yeah.
that experience like?
First of all, I hate traveling.
Oh, okay.
If I could get a superpower, it would be to just appear in places. I
I
hate
say so
traveling.
too.
I
Right.
hate being on flights. I hate doing road trips. Road trips are the absolute worst for me because I get
Why
motion
is that?
sickness.
Oh
Yeah, I
no.
get motion sickness whenever I'm on, and if I'm not the one driving, I get motion sick. I
Goodness.
hate traveling. If I could just, I love showing up to these places because
Yeah.
whenever I meet the people who listen to my music in
Yeah.
person, it's
Mhm.
a beautiful experience. Like,
Oh my
and
gosh.
then hearing these people that you're meeting for the first time singing back the songs, the
Yeah.
words back at you, it's one of the best feeling in the world, and it's also an
Mhm.
opportunity for you to see the work that God is doing through the arts that you've been creating. So that is beautiful.
Right.
Uh, do I get tired sometimes? I mean, yes. Sometimes I'm away from my home for 7 weeks.
Oh, yeah.
Haven't seen, don't see my wife in 7 weeks except on FaceTime on calls, and that is
Mhm.
not easy.
I'm sure.
Uh, but other than that, I love being out there. I love doing missions. I love going from country to country telling people about Jesus. Because at the end
Mm.
of the day, I find a lot of fulfillment in that. Because like, and that's one way I can tell that this is my calling. This is what God has called me to do. The fact that I find fulfillment in something that is so stressful.
Right.
And the thing is, people don't really know how touring works. People just, as you know, you're touring, you're making a lot of money. Most times we're not making money. It's just missions. We're like, okay, let's
Wow.
go.
I didn't know
Yeah,
that. Huh.
no, most times we're not making money. Most
What?
times we're losing money.
Really?
Yes, I just
Oh,
did an African tour and I lost like I invest. I don't want to call it lost. I
yeah.
invested money into it because for me, my idea is like I always say, I don't think there will be a Limoblaze today if there wasn't a Lecrae.
Mm-hmm.
And so I'm ready to go deep into my pockets, spend as much as possible
Okay.
to inspire, even if it's one kid, to
Mhm.
run with the gospel and explode in their creative journey. Because
Goodness. Mm-hmm.
I have, because of Lecrae
Hmm.
being available for God to use,
Right.
I was like, before Lecrae, I was like a sleeper agent that was activated after Lecrae. So I'm like in my head,
Activated. Yes.
like how many sleeper agents are out there that me being out there can activate them and they could go storm the world for Jesus. And
That's
for me,
amazing.
the
Yes.
thought of that alone is makes it all worth it.
Wow. It's incredible. Like, I know it can be exhausting, tour after tour after tour, but
It is
people are
exhausting, I'll tell you that for
I'm
sure.
sure I have no experience with that. I can only imagine.
Yeah,
Even traveling small, 'cause, I travel a little bit, but it's just, I can't
me too.
imagine just going city after city. And I pray God gives you more strength to keep
Amen.
going and inspiring other, young artists, up and coming artists to want to also spread gospel music, please spread the message of Jesus. So I know you're
Amen.
inspiration to millions of people in one place. So that is incredible. And I know that you mentioned inspiration from Lecrae. Would you ever want to be a musical mentor towards someone else, or do you see a young artist that you would want to kind of train up and also encourage to spread their music? Is there anyone that
I
you're
mean, I am already. I already do that for a number of artists.
okay? Hmm.
I don't know if young might not necessarily come into play here because like it's not like I'm like there is a number of artists that I'm probably much older than that I mentor in a way.
Hmm.
Um, on the other hand, there's like artists who may not be as like super young, but I'm
Okay.
like I run with them. One
Okay.
person, for example, would be Princeton South. I run with him. I
Right.
try to be a part of his journey as much as possible.
Big fan of
And
him as well.
oh yeah,
Yeah.
and there are a number of artists out there that I'm always looking out for, trying to support in whatever way that I can.
Okay.
And
That's
the thing
amazing.
for me, music is I've never planned to be 40 years old and making music. No,
So you
like
want
I
to
could
retire at a point?
I don't. Well, retire might not be necessarily because I would always be in music. Music is a part of my life. I cannot go a day, but I'm not gonna be 40 years old and touring
Okay.
7 weeks on the road. I don't want to be
Exactly.
doing that.
You want to
I
exhaust
would have
too
kids.
much.
I don't want to focus on my kids, but I would definitely always be in music. And other ways that I could be in music is have artists that I'm showing the ropes, helping them
Yeah.
become better,
Mhm.
better in the musical journey and also in their faith and belief system. And so yeah, that's my plan.
Okay, that's
Yeah,
incredible. Just to keep on working alongside artists and,
yeah.
maybe not touring all the time, like when you get to 40, but what you can do now
It's not
and
like 40 is the hard line. I'm
I'm
just
just
like putting it out
yeah,
there.
yeah,
Yeah,
just a number, right, right. But
yeah.
I understand. Okay.
And I don't want anybody out there to feel like, oh, I'm 40 years old. Why am I still doing it?
Ooh,
No,
40 is
we're all
young.
different people. We all
Right.
have what we want to do with our lives,
Hmm.
and that's for me what it is. Who knows? By 40, I might put in an album, but it's
I
like,
pray so. I really
yeah. I mean, Lecrae should be in his 40s, no?
I don't know
Yeah, he should be in his 40s, and he's
for all my life.
he's
I'm 21, so probably.
yeah, and he is as relevant as it gets. Honestly, I remember having a conversation with him because I asked him because I used to tell myself that I'm gonna make music for 5 more years and then I'm done.
Oh, why was
But then
that cut
uh,
off? Yeah.
because for many reasons for me, one is I never so as much as I make music and this is what I do,
Right.
I never let my music doesn't define me.
Okay.
All of
I
my existence is not tied to my music.
okay.
So I never want to be at a place where I'm trying to hold on to something at the point where I'm supposed to have passed the baton to the next generation. I never want to be that guy. But then
Okay.
I had a conversation with Lecrae and he told me something that changed my mindset. Because he was
Interesting.
like the only reason why he's still making music
Okay.
and putting in the work to
Hmm.
because being an artist is like one of the hardest thing to be mentally.
I'm sure.
It's
Yeah.
yeah, mentally it's not being an artist is not the greatest thing in the world. The
Wow.
insecurities people artists battle with,
Hmm.
the imposter syndrome and all of that is
Right.
crazy. But he told me the only reason why he's still out there being active is because he's able to be active. He's
Hmm.
able to put on younger artists because he still has
Okay.
this influence, so he can
Right.
use the influence to set up other younger artists, and that changed my mindset. Because at the end of the day, that's what I
Uh-huh.
want to be. I want to be able to have as much influence as to be able to set up younger artists for success.
That's
And I was like, okay, I guess I'll be here a couple more years doing this than
so,
I thought.
yeah. Okay. Wow. I see.
Yeah,
Crazy just been the inspiration and been able to give you a lot of advice in this
oh yeah,
musical career. So what is it like collaborating him with him on songs? Like first, of course, finding his music when you were in uni,
yeah,
when you were younger, and then actually being on songs with him, producing, having this person to like go back and forth with lyrics and songs
yeah.
I like.
Lecrae is
Hmm.
he's such a creative person,
Hmm.
and he is very he's very intentional and picky with whatever music he makes. Same for Andy Mineo.
Yes, and
Um,
Arminio, big fan
yeah,
of well.
very intentional and very picky about the music that they make.
Hmm.
So doing a song with Lecrae is it's always gonna be a big deal. One, because I mean he is Lecrae.
Great.
He is that guy. I
Mhm.
mean when I was younger, I used to say the day I do a song with Lecrae, I'm retiring from music because to me that was
But
like
you
this was the
didn't
peak.
retire.
I didn't. I didn't.
No.
But yeah, making music with Lecrae, it is an honor for me, and
Hmm.
one of my biggest song is Jireh, and
Yes, I was
without
just
him,
listening to that. Yeah.
yeah, without him, I don't know if it was gonna be
Hmm.
um as big as it became. I
Okay,
don't think it would have. I mean,
interesting.
it would have been big, but not as big as it is with him on it.
Okay.
So
Hmm.
that is something I'm always grateful for.
Right.
And because of how picky he is with the music, if you
Hmm.
make music with Lecrae, it's a high probability that it's gonna be a great song.
Okay. And it
Um,
was for Jireh. It
yeah, it was. It
it's
was.
gotten millions of views, and it's really
It's
been. sang and played and just
Yeah,
ministered. It's
yeah,
right. So
yeah,
was there a music video or some kind of inspiration to go behind that song? Like after the song was made, what was it
yeah.
like producing the musical video elements alongside that song, Jireh?
Uh,
Mm-hmm.
with the musical video elements, I think we wanted to keep it really simple. For a couple of things, we wanted to keep it simple,
Mm-hmm.
low budget. I
Okay.
mean, when people watch it, I don't think they're thinking it's low budget, but it
Mhm.
really
Not at
was an
all.
easy. It really was an easy video to execute because all we had to do was uh, perform the song at two events, take clips from that,
Okay.
and then I recorded one performance shots. And
Mhm.
but it felt like at that point it felt like from a creative perspective, this
Mhm.
is what the song needed. It didn't need a glamorous video with crazy effects. No, it
Yeah,
just
some
needed
of that.
to feel a life, like people are actually singing along and vibing to this in real life.
Yeah.
And that's where the idea came from. And so
Okay.
we did
Yeah.
that. And it was amazing.
It was just that real
Yeah.
element, people singing along and
Yeah.
just feeling
Yeah.
unedited and fresh with this music video. So that
Yeah.
is very
Yeah.
inspirational, right? Well, moving on to another segment of this podcast.
Yeah.
Which African or gospel artists inspired your musical style, both spiritually and musically? I know you mentioned Lecrae and Andy Mineo. Which other artists really inspired your sound and style, if any other ones you want to mention?
Um So the thing about sound and style is
Mm-hmm.
it's very as a creative person, it's very difficult to say this person inspired my sound or style. It's almost impossible because
Wow.
uh
Mhm.
yeah, because the creativity in each and every one of us is like a genetic code
Okay.
that was placed in you from the moment you were made.
Okay. Interesting.
Everybody has a different genetic code. Now, are there things that you consume over time in your journey
Yes.
that helps shaping that genetic code? Yes. So which is why it is impossible to tie it to one artist to say no, because like I've been listening to music my entire life, and
Right?
every single one of those artists that I listen to from in my formative years till today
Yes.
all have contributed a part in shaping my genetic code of my artistry. So I cannot pick one artist and say, oh, this person uh informed my style. It's impossible to do that.
It's just like,
Every birdie that I have listened to at some point
yeah.
had a chip in there.
Okay, that makes sense.
Yeah.
Yes, you can't just choose one or a few. It's just
Yeah,
like
you can't just choose
everyone we've been
one.
listening to.
Unless if you're an artist that is obviously sounding like another artist, then we can
Oh,
say, okay, yeah, you're biting off this artist. But
mhm.
yeah,
Yeah, but for
no.
you, it's just
Yeah.
accumulation of those years of listening to music and hearing
Yes.
other people's sounds that inspired your own
Yep.
music. And okay,
And the
that makes
genetic code that God has placed in each and every one of us.
amen from the beginning.
Because the reason why I say that is somebody could carry out this experiment. You could take three babies
Mhm.
and play the same music to them for
Right.
10 years and then allow them to start making music. They would make different music because everything is warming up to the genetic code that God has placed in each and every
Amen.
one of us.
Of course. We're all very different, and all our experiences will produce
Yep.
different outcomes. And how
Yep.
God uses us is all different.
Yes.
To create music, produce music, sing, whatever the case is, it's just
Yep.
different callings and everything. And yours is music, and again, just encouraging other people in their faith
Yeah.
and in spiritual
Yeah.
songs as well. So that is truly incredible.
Yeah.
Well, I would love to know, are there any musical artists that you haven't collaborated with that you would like to, or is there something in the
Ooh.
works with someone that you have not already produced music with?
Uh,
Mhm.
to be honest, the most of the people that I dreamt of working with a
Yeah.
long time ago, I pretty much worked with every one of
Wow.
them.
Amazing.
There are amazing artists out there that I would love to work with in different ways. One person that to me is like the most creative person that I've ever come across or spoken with is probably John Bellion. He
Oh,
is
okay.
he's such a genius. Like it blows my mind. Sometimes I'm like, maybe God does have favorites because like,
Maybe, yeah.
why is this guy this talented? He's such a genius, and
Hmm.
maybe one day if I'm able to get him to produce a song for me, that would be crazy.
That would be
Um,
incredible.
in the exclusive Christian space,
Hmm.
um, I really like Brandon Lake.
Okay, me too.
Yeah,
His
Brandon
song,
Lake.
Praise the Lord. Very nice.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Brandon Lake, that is one person that
Mhm.
I would love to work with. One person that I think is really a genius in how he crafts his music, the arrangements and everything. Is Forrest Frank, but he
Okay,
just featured me on his album that just came out.
that's
Uh, I would
incredible.
love to do more stuff with him because I think so. People are able to just get the music, the end product, but
Hmm.
I've been privileged to see what his process looked like, and I'm like, this guy is a genius. Like
Musical genius. Yeah.
the music sounds very beautiful and it sounds digestible where it feels like it's so good on the ears, but people don't understand the genius that goes into that. And I really think he's a genius. And just from the way he arranges music that I've seen live, and I'm like, this guy is amazing.
How
That's
does he
definitely
do
one
that?
person.
Hmm.
I don't think I'm in a position to give out his source,
Don't
but
give it any sauce. Don't worry. Don't
yeah,
worry. It's all good.
but he is definitely a genius. I would say that he's
And
got the right ears for sound,
mhm,
uh,
great.
and that is not common. But who
Mhm.
else would I love to work with? Um, Brandon Lake definitely comes to mind. I would love to
Top of the
work with
list.
Elevation Reading. I
Okay.
love to work with Elevation Reading.
Hmm.
There. Um, Honestly, I don't. Nobody like. There's so many great artists that I would love to work with.
Great.
Most of them are my friends.
Oh, that's.
Hovey, Alex Jane,
Hmm.
um, all really super talented artists that I would love to work with. But
Yes.
I guess at the top of my list would be like a Brandon Lake.
Okay. So we need a
Um,
Brandon Lake on a song with you. We have to have this happen.
I'm yeah. Hopefully one day it will. Oh, Tori Kelly. This is like my favorite. Tori Kelly, I would love. Oh my god, I don't know if there's anybody that sings like Tori Kelly in this world. I
Beautiful
mean,
vocal.
God, her vocals are crazy. I would love to work with her someday.
Right.
Yeah, that's really my
Well, that's a
list.
good list.
Yeah,
Brandon Lake, Tori Kelly. You mentioned so many artists that have blessed,
yeah.
touched so many people's lives. So I pray and hope that you're able to make music alongside them, even
Amen.
the next
Someday.
album one day.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's incredible. Well, speaking of the next album, do you have one that is dropping soon, or do you want to speak on your most recent album and songs that have just released?
Uh,
Hmm.
when it comes to the next album,
Yeah.
I don't have a time for when the next album. Just because I feel like the next album is gonna mark a significant moment in my life's journey,
Okay.
and I feel like all of those moments are still coming together. Like I see them, it's happening, and I feel like they're still coming together. And because the next album, I've had the album title for 7 years now.
7 years.
Yes,
Wow.
I've had the album title for 7 years, and I've always said it's not yet time to make the
Not yet.
album.
Okay.
But
Hmm.
I'm feeling like I'm almost there
Hmm.
where I want to make this album because that album it's gonna be a really special album. It's gonna
Wow.
be
Can't wait.
even on just an artistic level. It's gonna show because I'm in a season where I'm going through a lot of sharpening as an artist myself. I'm going back to because like when you're performing at this level, you're touring constantly, there
Right.
isn't enough room for you to just keep like sharpening your artistry. I'm taking time off for the rest of, I mean, I got a couple tours to do this year, but I'm taking a lot of time off for myself to just go back, sharpen my artistry. There's so many things I do that people don't know that I do.
Like what?
Like,
If you can share. Hmm.
because I've never publicly like gone out to play the piano, so people don't know I know a bit of
I
music.
know. I did
Yeah,
that. Yeah.
people don't know I can play a bit of the acoustic guitar.
Okay.
That,
Impressive.
and I do some songs, and people are like, "Oh, I didn't know Limo could sing," and I'm like, "What do you people mean?"
They need to know more. Your
So
talent.
I'm definitely taking time off to like just sharpen all of my skills, my
Okay.
piano skills,
Hmm.
guitar skills,
Right.
um, vocals, all of that. Just really doing growing my artistry to levels that I'm gonna be like, oh, I'm even amazed by what I'm churning out.
Hmm.
But that next album is gonna be special. I don't know when it's gonna be, but that next album is gonna be special. Like I said, it's gonna mark a unique season in my life, and that season
Yeah.
is coming upon me, and I'm just like, okay, let me just sit. I've made a ton of music that I'm
Yeah.
probably gonna put out this year.
Mhm.
I have so much music, so much unreleased music,
And now we listen.
rap, Afrobeat,
Hey,
worship,
Afrobeat.
everything.
Okay.
Everything is in the clip, and I'm just like, okay, I'm gonna put that out. But I haven't started making the album. I know what the album is meant to be,
Okay.
and just and that the album is meant to be
Mhm.
some excellent levels of art that I have never achieved before. This is gonna be my first time achieving that, and yeah. So
That
no pressure on the album. When it
no
comes,
pressure. No
it's gonna come.
pressure. Yes.
It's gonna be
It'll
special.
come when it comes, but that
Yeah.
sounds like just
In the
as
meantime, go
good.
listen to
Yes.
Young and Chosen, the album. It's a great
Yes,
body of work.
of
Really love it.
course. Hmm.
Yeah.
Tune in to anyone listening to this podcast. Tune in.
Yeah.
Incredible. Wow. That is amazing. Well, as the next question, we are wrapping up soon.
Okay.
What advice do you want to give to young artists? I know that you were sharing all this nuggets of
Yeah.
advice and information to help people in this industry.
Mm.
So what are some things that you want to share with someone that is looking to start their calling in music, wants to
Yeah.
use music, wants to sing? What would you tell them?
So I'm gonna two things. I'm gonna give you like super um deep advice. Then I'm gonna give you something that is so common for your day to day studio work that
Okay.
will save you a great deal. First one, um, you're trying to make Christian music. Your relationship with Jesus is the most important thing, more important than the music.
Mhm.
And always look for daily self improvement. Like, what can you do every day to develop yourself, to get yourself better?
Mhm.
Um, always take David as an example. If he wasn't a skilled musician, he wouldn't have been invited to the king's house. You need
Exactly.
to sharpen your artistry on a day to day basis, get better. And stay humble, stay
Mm.
consistent,
Mhm.
and build a community.
Okay.
Community is always key in how your the success of your journey is gonna go as
Yeah.
an artist. Now, for like a common thing, it's
Okay.
crazy. What I'm about to say is like really common. Like, why am I even telling you this?
I want to hear it.
Because in the last couple of years, artists, everyone has been used to getting into the studio, recording, and then there's a bunch of presets that you sing. It just makes you sound great. Now, this
Okay.
is my advice to any artist starting out there.
Ooh.
Don't fall for it. When you get into the studio and you start recording, record all your songs with as little presets as possible. Nothing that changes the actual tone of your voice.
Okay.
Record without autotune. Autotune can come while they're mixing your song if it
Mhm.
needs it, but record without autotune. Now, the reason for this is
Yeah.
I've seen so many artists go so many years, get used to recording with autotune. The thing with autotune is when you sing, it's a pitch corrector. People often
Oh.
think autotune is for people that don't know how to sing. No, people that know how to sing use
Also
autotune.
use it. Wow.
Yes, because it's a great tool that sharpens your tone, your notes, and makes sure your pitch is landing correctly.
Okay. Makes
Now,
sense.
why I advise you to record without it is this: your voice, your vocal cord is also a tool that picks up habits. If you keep recording with autotune and you hear it back, and every time you hear it back, you would sound great and amazing because
Working vocals.
it corrects your tiny faults, it
Mm-hmm.
sharpens your notes. Now the problem with that is over time your voice is gonna get used to singing that way because your brain has said that is normal. So it's like if it's like you're trying to hit like a do that the note is do, but
Yeah.
while you're recording you're going to B flat like do like
Oh,
slightly under the notes. The
uh,
autotune corrects you. You
mm-hmm.
shouldn't use autotune because you need you to hear it back and hear that it's flat so that you can do it a couple times
To
and
correct
let
the
your
notes.
brain correct
Right.
it. I
Yes.
probably sound like I'm rambling, but that advice will change your career, your performing career, because
Mhm.
that's what happens. And then a lot of artists show up on stage and are unable to sing without autotune
What?
live and it's sounding flat. And
That's
yeah,
unfortunate. Oh no.
that
Yeah.
would be my advice. Yeah.
That's incredible advice. So it's just no auto tune, and the more deeper aspects.
Without when you're
Yeah.
recording, the mix can come with that, but while recording, just take it up, bro.
Hmm.
Make sure you get your notes yourself.
Your
Get your
authentic
voice used
voice.
to get your voice used to actually getting the notes.
Okay. No, that's great. I'll definitely take that advice if I ever start making music, no auto tune.
Yeah,
And then, of course, the other aspect of just like building yourself up in the faith and
yeah,
making sure
yeah,
relationship with God is very strong because you're going to be producing gospel music. Like,
yeah,
that's your calling, and
yeah,
it's important to have that relationship with
yeah,
God to be at that level to minister to other
yeah,
people. So, thank you for sharing that, Limoblaze, and of course, to be on this podcast and taking the time to speak with
yeah,
me and further inspiring young artists and those that want to do gospel music or Afro
mm,
beats or Christian rap because
yeah,
it's taking over the world. We're seeing more and more songs and more artists and people, coming to produce music, whether it's YouTube or on
mm.
SoundCloud or whatever the case is, and seeing artists like you and being inspired. So thank you again for coming on this podcast. It's been a
Thank you for
blessing.
having me.
Thank
Thank
you.
you for having me.
Of course. Well, I hope you have a truly blessed rest of your day, and I hope to
Yeah,
see you on a tour. Are you coming to the US on your possibly?
I
No.
was supposed to do a US tour, but I canceled it. Like I said, I'm trying to take some more time for myself and just
Hmm.
uh
No, it's
be
completely fine.
just yeah.
Yeah.
Maybe next year I might do the US tour. I don't know.
Okay, wherever it is, I want to
Yeah,
be there to hopefully meet you in person if that is ever possible. But yeah,
yeah,
definitely take that time, rest, get back to, playing the guitar, music, or whatever it is to like strengthen those already amazing musical talent that you
yeah.
have. And I can't wait to see you next year or anytime in the future. But thank you
Thank you
again.
so much.
Of course, of course.
Thank
But
you.
stay blessed. God bless you. And
All right.
bye.